Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 137. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and our forever guest. He sits within hell itself, Ted Diablo Libby.
That's me.
How
Spanish roots.
hell are you?
Hey, I see what you did there.
Hey, get it? Because of Diablo. But enough about Diablo. I don't want to talk about Diablo yet. We're not there yet.
No.
The Nintendo Direct just happened this morning. Wednesday that we were recording this. And Nintendo Direct came up. Everybody was like, this is going to be it. Their big E3 style presentation. Get ready for it. I think there was like 3 to 4 things of note, but obviously you guys can also jump in on this stuff. Super Mario RPG is getting a remake, which looks pretty cool. People are very excited about it. Are you guys interested? It comes out this year, I believe, in November.
Are we confirmed it's not a retouch? Is it like they reworked the whole system?
I think it's completely remade, but like keeping the gameplay of it pretty much the same because it was already a turn-based RPG.
And they're charging $60.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What Nintendo does. Yeah. It looks cool though.
I don't know. Like the original looked good, and I like that style. So
yeah, I'm loosely looking forward to it.
Yeah. A lot of news. Oh, do you more about the Mario RPG, James?
No. I got nothing else. Like, we didn't see much. We saw like it just looked. It looks like they're their typical now Mario style colorization. It's not.
It does.
Special.
It doesn't have anything very special. We're going to talk a lot more about Mario art style in a little bit too with something later. But then they had a weird little thing where they teased a Princess Peach focused game.
Yeah.
And like did a little thing with Peach on a stage, and then it was like, but we're not even going to talk about anything else about that. And it like zoomed out. They're remaking the 3DS Luigi's Mansion.
That's what I thought. It was a new Luigi's Mansion
new.
game.
It's a remake of the 3DS one.
Never mind.
I know when you were like, I'm really excited about this one. I was like, that's not what this is.
I really like 3.
Yeah, you were like in love with.
Yeah.
They announced a new WarioWare game, Ted, and you have questions.
Not serious questions.
Okay.
My biggest thing with WarioWare is, and this baffles me. It baffled me back in the day, and it still baffles me now that it's like a single player game.
Yes.
Which I get that there are a lot of people who like WarioWare.
It's single player?
You can also do multiplayer, but
no, it's like group. Yeah.
Is there a multiplayer aspects to this?
Yes.
All right, there has been
they're like mini challenges. So like really quick challenges. Like you have like 15-20 seconds to do them.
Right.
And you get a controller, and it's like sometimes it's like shake the controller, sometimes it's like throw something, sometimes it's like don't move.
But like the multiplayer is like pass and play, right? Like you do one and then pass someone else doing another.
Exactly.
So it's not like two people doing one at one time.
Okay. Because I owned a WarioWare for the Game Boy Advanced, and there was there was the pass and play, and then I believe it was the Wii. Maybe it was the Wii that had actual multi-controller multiplayer. And then whatever the next one after that came out did not again. I was like, what are we doing? I thought this was a party game.
The WarioWare was it for Game Boy or Game Boy Advance? Because I remember there's one for Game Boy Advance with the little like gyro thing, and you like move your Game Boy Advance.
I did not have that one. I did not have a gyro.
Okay, I don't know which one, but yeah, there's a bunch, and they're like party games. That one was single player, like by yourself, but But that's what these are, and you know what? It's sad because I wanted Wario Land, which I guess they'll never make ever again.
No,
because
they'll never do that again, buddy.
That franchise.
No.
Sad.
Well, this is the second WarioWare to come out for the Switch, I believe.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
And I want to say the first one bombed. Did you guys play the first one?
No.
Nope.
Because I'm not gonna pay $60 for a WarioWare game.
For a bunch of micro games. They're not mini games.
They're micro games is what they call them. Yeah, they call them micro games. Very weird. Always very poop and fart related humor within the WarioWare games. That's something else.
Yep.
Often a mini game does include making Wario fart by eating something or doing something to his stomach. Just in there.
You know what? I'm back in.
All right, Ted. Yeah, you know what? Game of the year potential.
Get it and let us know.
Yeah, Ted, you buy it for $60. You let us know, and then we'll come
use the coupon.
There you go. Yeah, Ted, you could use the coupon here.
The voucher. Yeah.
They also announced that the Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 collection, which was already previously announced at Sony show, is coming to Switch as well. And now it's also coming to Steam and Xbox and PlayStation. And it's coming out like late October, I think October 24th. And it's got Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. And then it's got Metal Gear 1, 2, and I believe 3, which are the games that started, kind of before it. the names of the games too are great. Like it's like Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2, like Snake's Revenge or something. Like it's very funny.
But there's no 4.
No, because this is Volume 1.
Oh, okay, they're doing multiple.
And Volume 2, I bet you, is like Peacemaker 4 and 5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We don't need to dig too deep into this, but I thought Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid Peacemaker were the same game.
No. Metal Gear Solid 3 is not the same game as Peacemaker. Peacemaker was a PSP game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was Metal Gear Solid Covert Ops or something.
No, Metal Gear Solid
I know it sounds like I'm making
Twin
that up,
Snakes is the remake of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Right.
Then Snake Eater. And then Phantom Liberty. These names are fucking cool. Phantom Liberty is the coolest name I've ever heard.
Phantom Liberty is a good name.
Pretty
cool. There's a Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, so I wasn't totally.
Is that Metal Gear Solid 3? Or is that just a different game?
I believe.
Okay.
No.
I'm asking too hard questions here.
There's a lot for this timeline. We will dig into the Metal Gear Solid franchise at a different time.
Okay. Nintendo did thank us all for playing Tears of the Kingdom. They did not announce anything. They just said thank you, really, for playing this game.
Thank you for your buddy.
Yep. Yeah, we got a lot of it. It felt pretty good. And then I think the only other last thing of note, in my opinion, is the Mario game. Super Mario Wonder, which is their 2D side-scrolling Mario game that's new. And you get these crazy Wonder Seeds, and the whole world moves around you. And that's kind of looks like the gimmick of the game. James, what'd you think of Mario Wonder?
People were like, this got leaked, right? Like a 2D Mario game got leaked early, so people knew something was coming. They're like, ooh, they're kind of excited. I saw it, and I saw more of what they've already been doing with a little like quirkiness to it, which could be fun. I'm wondering. I'm not too big into Mario. Like when I watched it, I was like thinking like, I'm not really into this. This is not for me. So
that was exactly how I felt watching it. I was like, I just don't like Mario. I'm good.
Yeah, like I saw some stuff and I was like, this is gonna be bullshit. Like when I die to it. But it's definitely gonna be fun for the kids. It's gonna be fun for people who love Mario or these 2D types, and the people who play Super Mario Maker 2 every day. This is right up your alley.
I'm sure they're gonna make a great 2D Mario game. I have no interest in playing a 2D Mario game. I thought that was kind of it didn't blow me away. I was kind of hoping for something. I don't know. The art style is whatever to me. I don't think it's anything special. They don't really have like a distinct art style yet again, but they've changed it. It's not that new Super Mario Bros. Look, it's a little more defined.
I guess you were looking into it earlier. They're really driving home this like 3D world art style that they've carried on for the past 3 or so.
You mean 3D World TM? They're the game that they came out with fairly recently.
They have like Bowser's Fury, all that exact same style. They're keeping it on, and I guess that's what the Switch could do. So,
yep. Don't be surprised what we're doing there. Yeah. And that was the end of the show. That was the Nintendo Direct. Whatever. Pikmin 4 and Super Mario Wonder are their 2 big games of the fall. So that's kind of what that made me think of. So I have no other things to say about it. A little disappointed. No Metroid news again.
No console news either, which I think we expected.
No. That's got to be soon, though, right? That's got to be soon. We got to be getting a
Fall
Switch too.
Time frame? I don't know.
I don't know.
I just don't know how you can come out with a Switch this year. But like they can announce for next year, which I thought they were going to do because they announced some games for next year.
I mean, the Switch was codename NX for like 2.5, almost 3 years before they even said it was coming out in a few years after that.
Takes a long time.
It takes a long time to roll out a console, especially Nintendo with their current popularity.
Yeah.
So at this point, we have Sony coming out with the Slim, and supposedly a Pro is in the works, and we have Xbox coming out with something as well. At what point is
Xbox?
Are we getting the Switch U?
Xbox is raising the price on the Series X and everywhere but the US.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Game Pass is going up $2.
Yeah, I believe Xbox has shut down a rumor that they're making a Series X Pro.
Okay.
They made a better Slim. That is dropping
Series S
this holiday season. Sorry, yes.
No, that's not. Yeah, so PS5 is coming with the Slim, and they're just making a better Series S. Which but the Slim for the PS5 is the same thing as a PS5. It's not.
Yeah, there's no new hardware.
It's not a Series S.
No,
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
so it'd be like they made a Series X.
Correct, but there's no hardware upgrade or downgrade.
Which I just don't understand anymore. I guess like doing that is just too much more work.
Well,
and like
yeah,
just like what Nintendo did with the OLED, it's just like, you gotta do screen.
Think about it this way: how many years out of a console do you think you should get before you have to buy a new one?
Mm-hmm.
And then factor in that like there are people who just got their PS5s this year as opposed to last year or the year before that.
Right. So I think in a pre-COVID environment, it's probably like 4 to 5 years before like the new console could be the same type of like engine, but just like a new console, like a Slim or a Pro or something like that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a 4 to 5 year time frame is good. With
like
COVID and with supply chain, maybe it goes. I mean, the life of a console probably goes to 7. But in terms of like when someone's like gonna upgrade, like get a Pro, like how many years to take for you to get your PS4 to the PS4 Pro?
No,
like,
that's a good point.
Yeah. So on track for that, we might see a Xbox Series X Pro in 2025.
Yeah, but I think when you look at how we've progressed, like there was like this big ramp to go to like 1080p, like pretty fast. We got 1080p really fast, and to go from 1080p to 2K to 4K has been a fucking nightmare. We are still not at like 4K monitors. We're like 4K TVs are like everywhere, but to run 4K like at like really nice quality is still a struggle. So like when are we gonna get to 8K? Like 8K is gonna be like a huge jump. It's gonna be insane when they talk about, oh yeah, your Xbox Series X will do 8K 120 hertz. 120 FPS, like no way.
James, you bring up a good point where I didn't even think about buying a new console until I got a 4K TV. But the 4K TV came first, and then it was like, okay, I should probably get
and that's what usually happens.
Right,
is the TVs will go first, and then the hardware catches up, but we're way behind, I think.
Yeah, screens are behind.
Yeah, but we'll maybe they'll find some leap in technology, and we'll
be wrong.
I think with OLED and with micro LED and all that it's making stuff to look really nicely. So you can just be at 4K and be like, wow, this is really nice.
It's interesting you say that because 4K gaming monitors are still in the
bad
$300 to $350 per monitor, and most gamers nowadays are getting 2 to 3 monitors.
I'm not getting a 4K monitor until it's like a nice LG OLED monitor. I might as well just get like the TV.
James, are you on a single monitor?
No, I'm on a dual, but it's the 1440p. Like I'm not gonna up
two 1440ps.
Two 1440ps.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna upgrade to a 4K because the price is like $300 for the worst 4K, and the best 4K is probably like $800.
Let me tell you, Nintendo's not going to take advantage of your 4K monitor purchase.
No, they will not. No.
Right. So so that's why the TV makes more sense because I think Jake, you have the C2, right? The C2 has, I think it's like 120 hertz, maybe. Like it's a really good gaming TV and monitor. You could even use that as a monitor, but
oh yeah, dude, this thing, the particles in this thing, whoo, and crazy. It's crazy.
The gigahertz.
We're not going to talk about it, but playing Final Fantasy 16, like just a little bit of it, every like slash of your sword and like the sparks that fly off looks so good on this TV. Like the light and like how like the sparks come off something is like, damn, it was a good purchase.
Nice.
Yeah. Speaking it's probably gonna last 11 years.
It'll last me a long time.
Yeah.
Speaking of what could have been, or maybe is not a good purchase of mine, Diablo 4. Let's talk Diablo 4. Years in the making, Ted.
Some years in the making, yes.
By the illustrious Blizzard Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Never did anything wrong in their entire lives. Acti Blizz.
Ooh.
Yep. With our good friend Bobby Kotick over there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We actually did an episode about all the things Blizzard has done wrong recently.
Yeah.
Ted, what is Diablo 4?
Diablo 4 is a action RPG in the classical sense. It's isometric, almost a top-down character RPG in which you are blasting your way through hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of scary demons, all in the progression of better equipment.
Yep.
And you can do it with friends.
And you can do it with your pals.
Yep.
Well,
but that is the general gist of it. There is a story that is tying it together, and Diablo 4 introduces some fairly interesting like MMO light elements to it. But the general gist is that you are going to be mashing anywhere from 2 to 6 buttons and just destroying everything on screen, mostly with ease.
And how much have you played of Diablo 4? And like, what are you? And there's classes in this game, right?
Yes. So I'm playing co-op split screen on the Xbox. I'm a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
I use a bow. And I think I've put in 25 or so hours. So far, maybe a little less, maybe. Yep.
And James, you've been playing this game as well?
Yeah, I mean, not recently too much, but definitely put in 14 to 20 hours or so.
Yeah.
And mainly just playing the story, which I think is the best part. And I really like, with Diablo 3 was my first game, I really gravitated towards the story DLC. The main story was not too good. Gotcha. I just blasted through that, and it was like really easy. Diablo 3 is like really fast to get through.
Continuing James's trend of playing DLC stories.
Yes,
the Reaper of Kings DLC is so good, and I love that story for the Reaper of Kings DLC. I liked the twist and the like taking a fallen angel kind of arc and having them be bad, or it's a really unique style to like Diablo. But I foresee we're gonna get some of that with Diablo 4. I just don't see Blizzard like not capitalizing on DLC, Battle Pass, like all that.
Oh, so no, they're doing it.
I'm curious if they'll expand the story with that. I don't want it to be like what I see everyone is happening right now is that they're reaching the end game and it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just grinding, and which, hey, some people like that, and I'm more for the story.
Right,
so, and the story's good.
And I will say that I too have been playing mostly the story and a side quest here and there.
Right.
But I have been playing on the harder difficulty.
Same.
And have not been looking up optimal build guides or anything like that because I'm here to enjoy my stay.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
I saw the concerns too about the lack of end game. And that's mostly because they haven't rolled it out yet.
Which I think is fine.
Yeah,
they said they weren't going to do it. You're going to be like 3-4 months. That's probably typical.
Right. Diablo's end game, traditionally, at least in Diablo 3, has been a season-based system where they will announce a new season with specific items, specific abilities, maybe patch changes or tweaks, and then everyone can make a specific season character that goes away at the end of the season.
And you get those rewards at the end.
Yeah, and there's no like story constraints. You can kind of just go anywhere from the get-go. And the idea is to level up and to just play this season as quickly as you can, or as best as you can.
I think so that's how it worked in 3. And with 3, you could level up incredibly fast. And so you would get to the end game, which the end game was fun. There was like these little dungeons, which there is in this one, but I don't foresee it being the same style for this game because it takes so long to level up to like your max character. Like your max level. It takes forever. It probably takes, I think it's probably like, what, 60, 70 hours maybe? I have to take a look.
No, I am almost done. I think I'm on Act 5, and I'm level 45.
Out of 50?
No, out of 100.
Out of 100.
100.
But I figure I will.
But yeah, but your progression is going to slow down. It's not going to be like the same linear.
Right, and to be fair, I guess you're right. To hit max level will take a while.
But I'm assuming there's probably some optimal like 20-hour, like just do all these like follow this certain path and you'll level up to 100 like really fast. But I'm just talking about like if you just played story and just like went at it like normally, it takes a long time.
Yeah. This game, we can dig into the specifics in a second here, but there is definitely a rift between more casual players like all of us who are kind of just here for a story. We're here for a good time, and then there are much more kind of mid-maxy end game players who are purposely trying to skip the story.
Purposely trying to get as max possible.
And to get around these constraints to get up as quickly as possible.
And we're trying to do it the game.
I can't say I know much about that world.
No.
A couple people I know, a couple friends of mine have already finished the plot, finished the game, done with it, and are now waiting for the seasons to start.
Wow.
Just silly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But for the rest of us who are kind of interested in a Diablo game, I think this is great. The story's, it's definitely a little wonky because it's an angels and demons story without real angels and demons. So there's
we a lot of haven't seen like the normal demons or angels.
This is my first real deep dive into a Diablo game, and it's definitely a little bit jarring to hear like the Church of Light, and you're like, who's the Church of Light again? But I actually, James, I want to talk to you briefly about this. We can leave spoilers off. I actually am enjoying the story.
Yeah.
It's very coherent. You don't need previous experience. I really am liking it.
There's I think where we stopped, Jake, there's a really powerful moment that we haven't got to yet that has like by far been the best moment in the entire game for me so far. And I think this game, compared to other games, has a lot more human moments where like the humans that are not maybe main characters but like interact with you are really have these really interesting stories and really interesting things going on. Like things they did in the past, and then they're kind of like paying for their sins or just like paying for what they did or what they didn't do. It's like, oh, I should have done this, or I should have known this, and if I didn't sell this person out, if I didn't do this important thing, then we wouldn't be dealing with this demon that we're fighting. Which is it's pretty powerful. Like some people lose close family, some people like sell that, like they lose themselves. Like it's pretty powerful. I mean, I guess we got to that part in that game where like the mother
that part, with the mom.
But yeah, it's a lot more human than I remember from like Diablo 3. I don't remember. I didn't play Diablo 2.
Yeah, I find it to be a lot grittier too. Diablo 3, I don't want to make people mad and call it cartoony, but I did feel a little bit on the cartoony side of things, very kind of lightweight, whereas this feels much heavier. This feels like a terrible place to live. All of these characters, just their lives suck and they don't get any better. It's got a good grit. You know, I keep referring it as visually and like aesthetically to a very like heavy metal or like hard rock kind of conceptual album.
I mean, the name of every quest line is a heavy metal song, basically.
Blank of blank.
Yeah.
River of blood.
Yeah. Desolation of ruin.
Yeah,
just like all crazy fucking names.
Yeah, it's just a band name generator for sure.
That's pretty great. I'm not going to talk a ton on this because I don't feel like I got a great grasp of what Diablo is. I played, I don't know, probably 4 hours total of Diablo so far. Played as a sorcerer. Very exciting times.
Which is fun.
I forget my name. My name's like something magic or something. I forget my name. But anyways, good times. I'm gonna be honest, not my game at all. Just I'm down to keep playing it with you guys as like we just hang out on like a Friday night or whatever. That's fun. But like you guys talking about the story and everything, like in the time that I played, it was very hard for me to kind of follow along with what I was trying to do and also with what the story is. So for me, it was like I'm missing kind of, I guess, the great story beat that like wants me, like, it's driving me to go back. And for me, like the hitting a button to watch things blow up is like, you know, like I think I need a little more interactivity with the game, and I know it's about building your guy and what your character does and everything, but it's not my type of game. But I am fascinated to hear by you guys like why this is a very positive Diablo experience, because I think like it was a risk if this game was going to go with me anyways, and it's just Diablo in general is not my type of video game.
Yeah, the ARPG.
Yeah,
I think you would like Lost Ark, because Lost Ark is very similar to this style of game, but it's not like the kill 100 mobs that are the same exact health and you do the same exact spells. It's like a little bit different and probably more interactive with the bosses and the landscape. But that ARPG style games like this one, Path of Exile is the other like competitor. They all are kind of the same. They all appeal to the same people who want to level up characters and just mindlessly kill mobs.
Yeah, if I want,
get
if I want
cool drops,
I'll bounce off of that. Jake, I think you hit the nail on the head as to what kind of the addictive loop is for this game. The crux of a Diablo game, which I think they have really nailed here once you kind of get the ball rolling, is it's going to be a lot of staring at, you know, your armor stats. You are building a character and you're building your talent trees and you're planning out exactly what your character is going to do, albeit sort of basic. This game is definitely, I think, harder than previous Diablos, but you're building out this basic concept of like, I'm going to, you know, press my X button, which triggers this ability, which then I can do this and combo into this. You're figuring out these very basic combinations using your items and your talents. And then after all that planning, you go into the world and then you can just see it work. And that's where the fun of killing a million enemies that all have the same amount of health is like, I built this combo that I'm working.
The fun is definitely the end game, and like when you're not at that point and you don't have like all the stuff unlocked that you're like trying to do, that's a bit annoying to me, I think. So
and
once you do have the nice armors and the nice legendary items and all that, like you're talking about, Ted, that's fun.
And I think that this game does a much better job than Diablo 3 did, especially Diablo 3 if you got into it after launch, where like Diablo 3 almost encouraged you to just not pay attention because it was like, don't worry about this. This is too early in the game for you to care about what weapon you're using. You'll get a new one in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The slowness of Diablo 4 makes it much easier to like stop and go, oh, you know, this ability that's attached to this weapon that I got, I really like. I think I'm going to disenchant it and use it in my next build.
Right. Yeah, I think for me, like what, and I think I've like kind of always been this way, even with like Destiny and stuff like this, of like the random loot drop of like hoping I get the thing here has never been my style of what I want out of a video game. Mm-hmm. Like I think of like now playing Zelda, and it's like to get this certain, you know, headdress mask thing that for diving, I had to like find a certain area and do a certain thing, and that was like an interesting adventure where it's like, oh, I found these cool boots amongst this litter of bodies, sick. And it's like, for me, like, that's not the grind. But from what I understand through you guys, this Diablo experience is, like, awesome. Like, this is, like, what you were looking for out of a Diablo game. And
this is exactly what I was looking for, yeah.
Like, what is that? What is the for you, like, the loop? Is it the story that keeps you coming back? Or, like, why are you playing Diablo so much?
Yeah, I'll take this question. I'll also make it a little bit bigger as to like why does Diablo succeed when Torchlight continues to fail?
Yeah.
For me, why I really like this, I guess a lot of people I know are playing it, and so Jake, as you were talking about, like this is a perfect co-op game to put on with 4 friends and then to talk about other things.
Yeah. Well, and you live with like your roommates. Like for me, like Maddie's not going to play Diablo with me on the couch. For like, you have a guy that anytime like Friday night, like, you want to play some Diablo? Like, that's pretty cool. I can get the appeal to that, right?
Exactly. So that is a large draw. And a lot of people are coming back to Blizzard games for the first time in 10 years. So it's kind of fun to reconnect with some old friends. But also, I would say just the slowness and the pacing of Diablo 4 lets you kind of experience that end game. You know, I'm just playing through the story, and yet I am still stopping to think about my build, to put on this weapon versus that weapon. There's still a lot of that thought process going into. Diablo 3 I really bounced off of because I came to it like almost 4 years after launch, and it was literally like you start the game, it's super fast, like it's overly elevated, you're flying through each level, and it's literally just like you're just wasting your time for 3 hours until you get to the real game, which is always something that I've hated.
Yeah.
And this, I think, merges concepts from the end game and makes it available to you from the beginning, which I really like. And I think it does that really well, and that's why I think franchises like Torchlight are kind of struggling. Path of Exile is the other major competitor. James can talk more about Path of Exile. Path of Exile stays alive because it has a pretty cultish following who really likes that end game that we're talking about, and they continue to add to it. But on the flip side, there's a huge struggle to get into those games, right? A large live service game over time gets harder and harder to get into. Diablo, I think, has done a pretty fantastic job of easing players into what this game is, and they do it fairly naturally, without needing to go to a website on the second screen and look up what I need to do, how I need to do this.
Yeah, and that's PoE. PoE is like the advanced Diablo where there's just like a giant skill tree. People are just blasting through, and they only play it once a new season comes out, which I don't know, is every couple of months. New season comes out, everyone's on PoE. They play it for a couple weeks, and they're done. Boom, boom, got your fill. Like, you know, it's like a sale at a store. They come in, get their item, leave the store, no one's there. that's these types of games. But I know Diablo is definitely trying something different, so I'm very curious when they come out with the first season. Like, maybe we'll talk about it and
I'm sure we will
revisit, see how they're handling, because I think everyone's getting to the end game right now and they're getting bored.
That's kind of the problem with these games. Kind of usually, typically, is what happens.
You're gonna run out of content. They're tired of grinding dungeons, so they're like, "What's next?"
So I picture that Ted's gonna play a lot of this game throughout the year. James, do you first?
I don't really intend to. My interest has been piqued. I came into this wanting to play a co-op story game with some friends. I am accomplishing that goal as we speak. When I'm done with that, I don't know. I'm willing to check out the end game. I'm very curious about it, but I don't know if it's something I'm really going to want to stick with. So I will report back when the first season comes out.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, that's I foresee if there is like a dead period of games, which is going to be very hard with Starfield and all these other games coming out. Maybe I'll pop in there, like you get that itch every now and again. That's how I felt with Lost Ark. Like I played it all the way till I got to the end game, and then I stopped. So I would at least want to get through the story. I at least want to complete the story.
Like you do enjoy the story, so
yeah. Awesome. So that's about as far as I'd go.
Yeah, I'll probably play this if you guys like hop on and like, let's play Diablo.
Yeah, what I like. So I think one thing that you're hinting at is like just getting on with the bros, and no matter what level you are, you're having the exact same experience and having fun. It's awesome. I love that.
That I think is worth really mentioning. Is I think what's really cool about this game is that I was able to start the game with Ted, started a new character with me, and then you were able to join us at level 25 or whatever you were.
Right.
And it scales everything to our appropriate levels. Yeah, where like we're playing the same game just all together,
and the difficulty. So it's like I was playing at like probably a higher difficulty, but it's like we're all fighting the same enemies, but they're not the same health. They're not the same like.
I was playing on level 2, James. Okay.
Oh, you playing level 2?
I was playing level 2. I'm a fucking gamer, James. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I didn't know.
I beat Elden Ring. Come on.
You did it, Elden Ring. Yeah. Anyway, level 2, like level 1 is like you just blast everything. Level 2 is like, okay, there's a little challenge here for the bosses, which is nice.
But I thought that really works for this type of game where like it is more about your personal stats and your personal equipment, that like being able to just play with your friends no matter what level or where they were at in the game is really, really cool.
That's really crucial. And also what platform they're playing on. You're playing on Xbox. Ted,
yeah,
playing co-op, couch co-op, and I'm playing
we at one point were playing a PS5, a PC, an Xbox, and an Xbox split screen.
Yeah, we had all of them going.
Yeah,
all 4 elements combined into one.
So that's really, Avatar. Really nice. Like I think that might keep this game going like a little bit. It's just
this game's gonna
crossplay. Yeah. So and then whatever else comes out for expansions.
It has a really good structure, and it also has a really good connectivity. Like we were just talking about, it's cut this MMO-ishness of it where everyone can play together. You see other people in the towns, like. Who knows what they could add, but they could really build this out into a really interesting live service game.
It's very curious because I definitely felt lonely when I was playing Diablo 3. Like it was just all by myself, my own world, like grinding through. And then when I got to like the Rift dungeons with someone, maybe like it opens up and I could play with other people. But it was definitely very like I'm myself in my own. It felt like a single player experience, and this one definitely feels like an MMO experience where everyone's in the world and you're in a live service game, which that's the difference.
Is there like a big town or city in Diablo 4 that like everybody goes to and I just didn't get there yet? No. Or is it like those little small towns that we were all in?
It's everything.
Kyovashad, which is
Kyovashad is the large town, but there isn't that classic MMO
like the tower in Destiny.
Right.
Yeah. There isn't that classic where like hundreds of people are just going about their day in the main town. I think the world is very instanced or segmented so that you're only ever seeing maybe 10 other people in town and one other person in the world.
Okay.
And that's all very deliberate. It is not a classic MMO system where just hundreds of people are on the same servers sharing the same world.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Any final thoughts on Diablo before we kind of touch one more thing? You have anything that you wanted to touch on before?
I would say that we have not seen the evil of Activision Blizzard yet. As of launch, the Battle Pass is not coming out until the first season comes out. It is cosmetic only. So we haven't seen a lot of the traditional AAA
pay to win
evils. Yeah, so things might change a little bit. I'm fairly confident though. They've made a really good game and it's been very, very free of like video game icks that have cropped up recently. So I'm pleasantly surprised by Blizzard Activision. I really think they hit it out of the park on this one. At least for now. I would say if you want a classic 2000s video game experience, get Diablo 4 now.
I think the production of it and the production value of what the product is awesome. I mean, even I pointed out like visually, just like some of the environments that I was seeing was like, wow. And then you guys were like, oh, this is nothing to what you see. I was like, I imagine it like that. I can imagine the hellish landscapes being stunning and beautiful. For me, it is just like, it's just so not my type of like video game of like almost like a racing game, which is like, this is like not my type of thing. And so like I actually wanted to kind of really like it, and I was like, this is kind of what I thought it was gonna be. Okay, I'll play Final Fantasy 16 next week. So, but I'm definitely down to go back into it. James, what are your final little?
I think I think you definitely like gave it a try, which I think I wouldn't expect this to be your type of game because this is like like definitely an MMO ARPG style game. But yeah, I'm just curious about extra content, what they're going to do with the battle pass system, if they're going to expand the story.
New classes, I'm sure will come, right?
Oh yeah. That's a for sure thing. I think.
Yeah,
I think,
the current rumor. Oh, they're missing a few.
Paladin,
but
right?
the current rumor is that there will be more characters. They will probably be adding the Crusader as the first character. There is, like I said, this kind of seasonal end game that will be coming out. But then there are also rumors that there will be expansion pack-esque story content DLC that will come out periodically.
Yeah.
Which, if it continues with the same production value as the current story, I'm all for.
Right.
Like, I will happily pay, DLC money for a new class and a new area and some new quests in that area.
That's what I did for Diablo 3 when I got it way after, like with all the DLC, which is nice.
Yeah, so I hope in their live service projections they're including kind of the single player aspect.
Yeah.
Or classic campaign aspect.
I would imagine they would. I mean, Blizzard does like those single player campaign stuff. Like
and they do it.
They just don't do it for Overwatch.
Very well. They do it very well. Yeah.
No, well, apparently they do. They just
Overwatch is back.
Well, that's another
thing.
day.
Yeah, it's another thing. All right, before we end the show, James, you wanted to talk about one other game that wasn't Diablo 4, and you wanted to talk about Tears of the Kingdom, correct?
No, sadly.
Damn it. Okay.
But I did want to talk about something that I've been playing on the Steam Deck recently, which sometimes I switch. Like sometimes when I get in Tears of the Kingdom, like I'll just be like doing some shrines and going exploring, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me take a break for a little bit. Let's see what's on the Steam Deck. And I saw a friend playing this game, and I was like, you know what? I've never given this franchise a try at all, and maybe I'll give it a try. I didn't realize it was on Steam.
He's playing Watch Dogs.
I was like, you know, this is probably pretty good for the Steam Deck, and the game is called. It just came out like 2 weeks ago. It's called We Love Katamari REROLL.
Oh yeah, Katamari Damacy game.
Yes, a Katamari Damacy game, and this game is fucking hilarious.
Explain the premise. Explain what it is.
Okay,
the idea.
Yeah, Katamari are like they're like these universe beings that control, like they kind of control the universe kind of thing, and so their goal is to kind of make a Katamari, which is just a ball that you push around. And so in this game, you're the prince, and the king is I think it's probably for every game because I haven't played every single one.
Oh, yeah.
There's a king that you have to like bring the Katamari to, and what you do is you take this ball and you roll stuff up with, but you can only roll stuff up with that are like the size of the ball. So if your ball is this size, you can only roll up objects that are this size. If your ball is this big, then you can roll up objects that are this big. So that's the whole point. You're trying to make the ball bigger, and you can make it huge. You can make it like suck up like people, cars, buildings.
You start up picking up cockroaches
and it scales,
and paper clips, and then you're picking up entire cities.
Yeah.
But they kind of changed. Maybe that's how it was traditionally, but they've changed like some of the aspects. Like now there's like roll up this sumo wrestler, make him eat all this food, and then have him go battle the other sumo wrestlers. And so you're making the sumo wrestler bigger and bigger, and then he goes and fights the other guy and just knocks him out. So it's a little bit more beyond just the ball and rolling things up. But
so fun.
It is really good on the Steam Deck. Like I'm having such a blast with it. It's something that.
So it's a new one, or is this like a remake?
Brand new. No, new game.
Wow.
Yeah, We Love Katamari REROLL Deluxe. That's what it's called.
What a name.
$20.
Rolls up the tongue. That's awesome. Yeah. So you've never played a Katamari game before?
No, never. And I can see all the hype behind it. It's very Japanese, so it's very fun. But love it.
It's so fun. Yeah, I really recommend those games. They're wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is wild and hilarious. And
what's the newest one called?
We Love Katamari REROLL Deluxe, I think.
Okay.
I love these.
We Love Katamari. No, REROLL plus Royal Reverie.
Oh, it's even better. REROLL plus Royal Reverie.
Well, because I think this might be like a remaster of a remake type thing.
It definitely feels all new, but I don't know if there was ever like these levels or
because
I know Katamari has been like remade or like upgraded to the next a
lot. They remake them every console or two.
I can read the description. The second title in the Katamari Damacy series has returned.
Yeah.
In a remastered, powered up version. This new REROLL comes up with improved graphics and gameplay enhancements in Royal Reverie. Roll up Katamari and the King all come all
He's still going.
These games are wild.
They are wild.
Yeah. So I guess it's a remake of 2.
Okay, very cool. Well, that's excited. You're playing some Katamari.
Yeah, it's well, I got it for 20 something. It's like 30 now, sadly, but definitely worth the $20.
Yeah, it looks like it's also on Switch, so that's great. Love a good Katamari.
Yeah. I mean, the way I'm playing it, I think it feels better on the Steam Deck. I don't know if I because like you have to really fuck up those joysticks, and like the Steam Deck can handle it.
The Steam Deck feels so much better than the Switch.
I just break the switches, like try to flick those joysticks. Yeah,
that's so funny.
So yeah, it's fun.
Well, thank you so much for watching the 137th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's James. That's Ted. And we will see you next week. Diablo.